It's video time again. Today we're going to talk about X and Y intercepts. Look at you watching the video. Good for you. Smiley face. All right. X and Y intercepts are where the graph crosses the axes. So the x-intercept is where it crosses the x-axis, and the y-intercept is where it crosses the y-axis. So this is your x-axis, remember. This is your y. So it crosses the axis right here. That's what intercept means. It's like intersection. So what point is that? Well, remember we go left to right first. So we would go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to the right. Right is positive. And we don't go up or down. The y-intercept is where it crosses the y-axis. So we don't go left or right. So it's a 0. And then we go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 in the positive. Now you should notice something really cool about this. Hint, hint. Okay, we'll talk about it in a minute. So if you look at the intercepts, 5, 0, oh my gosh, that's awfully small. Who made that graph? We're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to the right, and we're not going to go up or down. For the y-intercept, we're not going to go left or right, but we're going to go 2 down. The x-intercept is on the x-axis. The y-intercept is on the y-axis. For this one says go left 1, but don't go up or down. So that's the x-intercept. It's on the x-axis. This one says don't go left or right, but go 7 up. I think that's a 7. Boy, these are little numbers for an old woman. And that is the y-intercept, and it's on the y-axis. Now we said there was something exciting. Look, look. What do you know about both of the x-intercepts? At the x-intercept, y is equal to 0. So it's always going to be a point x, 0. This will be how far right or how far left. The y-intercept, oh, looky, looky. On the y-intercept, x is always 0. So it's always going to be a point 0, y. And that tells you how far up or down to go from the origin. X-intercepts on the x-axis, y-intercepts on the y-axis. So again, at the x-intercept, y is 0. At the y-intercept, x is 0. So if I'm going to find the x and y intercepts, for the x-intercept, it's going to be a point something, 0. So I'm going to substitute in 0 for y. So I have 3x minus 6. Whoop! There's y. Put a 0 equals 12. What's 6 times 0? 0. It's gone. Equals 12. Divide by 3. X is equal to 4. So that means your x-intercept is 4, 0. I got to get rid of that. Okay, the y-intercept is going to be a point 0, y. So you're going to substitute in 0 for x. You probably should be writing that down. Write down this stuff up here, the intercepts, and then write this part right there, okay? X-intercept is going to be something 0, substitute 0 in for y. Y-intercept is going to be 0 something, substitute 0 in for x. So what that means is I'm going to take this function, 3, whoop, there's the x, minus 6y equals 12. What am I putting in place of x? 0. So that's 0 minus 6y equals 12. The 0's gone. Divide by negative 6. Y is equal to negative 2. So your y-intercept is 0, negative 2. I got to learn to write smaller, guys. So on this next one, for the x-intercept, remember it's something, 0. So I'm going to go negative 3y plus 2. No, 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 you're not. You're going to substitute 0 in for y. So negative 3, what am I putting in for y? 0 plus 2 equals x minus 1. So 0 plus 2 equals x minus 1. 2 is x minus 1. Add the 1. You find out x is 3. There's your intercept. For the y-intercept, I think I'm going to put it down here. The y-intercept, remember, is 0, comma, y. So we're going to put 0 in where we see x. So negative 3y plus 2 equals, whoop, there's the x, 0 minus 1. Negative 3y plus 2 is negative 1. You're just going to solve this equation. Oops. And I'm going to divide by negative 3. Oh my gosh, guys, that's terrible. Terrible writing. So it's 0, 1. All right, this next one's going to be perfect because I have just made that one too big. It's like Goldilocks. This one's too big. This one's too small. All right, so for this last one, for the x-intercept, remember it's x, comma, 0. We're going to put 0 in for y. So we go 5x minus 10. There's y. Put in 0 equals 15. So 5x minus 0 equals 15. The 0's gone. We can divide by 5. X equals 3. There's your x-intercept. For the y-intercept, remember it's 0, comma, y. We're going to put 0 in for x. 5, there's your x. Put 0. Minus 10y equals 15. That's 0 minus 10y equals 15. 0 doesn't matter. So I've got negative 10y equals 15. Divide by negative 10. We're going to simplify that. 5 goes into both of them, so it's going to be negative 3 over 2. Now, you could make it negative 1.5 or negative 1.5. Either one would work. So we're going to find the x and y intercepts of each function here. So we've got the x-intercept. It's going to be x, comma, 0. Put 0 in for y. So I have x equals 3. I had no place to substitute in y, but look what I found out. X is 3. For the y-intercept, it's going to be 0, comma, y. We're going to put 0 in for y. I don't have, or 0 in for x. So I have 0 equals 3. Does 0 equal 3? No. So what that tells you, there is no y-intercept. Weird. So on this one, the x-intercept, remember it's x, comma, 0. Put 0 in for y. So when there's the y right there. So I put 0 equals negative 2. Does 0 equal negative 2? Nope. So that tells me there is no x-intercept. All right, let's try the y-intercept. For the y-intercept, we put 0 in for x, and we're going to find y. So there's no x. So I'm just going to write y equals negative 2. We found out what y was. That's my y-intercept. So for this last one, we've got to find the x-intercept. Remember, it's going to be x, comma, 0. Put 0 in for y. Oh, look, the very first thing I see is y, so I'm going to put 0 equals 2x minus 4. That's an equation. I have to solve it, so I'm going to add 4 to both sides. So 4 is equal to 2x. I have to divide by 2. 2 is equal to x. So my intercept is 2, comma, 0. For the y-intercept, I'm going to put 0 in for x, and I'm going to find y. So there's a y, there's an equal, there's a 2. Oh, there's an x. Put 0, minus 4. So 2 times 0 is 0, minus 4. 0 minus 4 is negative 4. So there's my y-intercept. Let's look at this. Look at this. This equation only had x, right? And it only has an x-intercept, no y-intercept. This equation, whoops, that was supposed to change to green, only has y. And look at that. There's no x-intercept, only a y-intercept. This equation has x, choomp, has y, choomp. There's an x-intercept and a y-intercept. So you're going to only get an intercept if that variable shows up in the equation. Mind-blowing. Okay, so checkpoint 1, find the x and y intercepts for the following equations. Remember, x-intercept, you're substituting 0 in for y. Y-intercept, you're substituting 0 in for x. And this has an X, has a Y, so it's going to have both. This one has an X, has a Y, it's going to have both. Pause the video, do the problems. We'll talk about them next time. Okay, now, why we want to do intercepts is because we can graph lines. So these equations are called linear equations or linear functions, okay? And what are the first four letters of linear? Line. Usually I ask, what word do you see in linear? Until some kid said ear. That messed up my whole lesson. So now I'm going to tell you it's the first four letters. Line. They're going to make a line. Now all lines are straight, but people like to call them straight lines. So we should get a nice, pretty straight line with this, right? So let's find the x-intercept. For the x-intercept, we're going to find x and substitute 0 in for y. So there's a 3, there's an x, there's a plus, there's a 5, there's a y, put 0, there's an equals, there's a negative 15. So this is 3x, 5 times 0 is 0, gives me negative 15. So I have 3x equals negative 15. Remember, this is just an equation, so I'm just going to solve it using my equation rules. So my x-intercept is negative 5, 0. I'm going to graph that. That says go left 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and don't go up or down. I probably should have made that green, huh? Because that was my 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That was my x-intercept, and I found it in green. Let's use purple. I like purple. For the y-intercept, we're going to put 0 in for x, and we're going to find y. So there's a 3. There's an x. Put in 0. Plus, there's a 5, there's a y, there's an equals, there's a negative, there's a 1, there's a, oh, that's 15. That's silly. 3 times 0 is 0, plus 5y equals negative 15. This is just an equation, so you're going to solve it. So then we're going to divide by 5, and we find out y is negative 3. We're going to put that up in here in our point. We're going to go to our graph. It says don't go left or right, but go down 3. There's the y-intercept. And because it said to graph it, I'm going to connect, well, I'm going to try really hard to connect it, but my pen's not working. Come on, there we go. And oh, look at that. It makes a sort of straight line because I'm really bad at straight lines. But you see, and it really didn't make it through the points. So you know what happens if you miss the points. Just make them a little bit bigger, then you've got them. Yay! So that's how we graph using x and y-intercepts. So let's do it again. For the x-intercept, we're going to find x and put 0 in for y. So, oh, look at that. There's a y, put 0. There's an equals, there's a 2. I'm going to put x with it all over 3. You know, I like to turn that into one fraction. There's a minus, there's a 4. Now, I'm not even thinking x and y-intercepts. I'm not thinking graphing. I'm thinking it's an equation. So to solve that, I'm going to add 4. So now I have 4 equals 2x over 3. Remember, if I have a fraction over here, I want a fraction over here, so I put it over 1. I'm going to cross multiply. 12 equals 2x. Divide by 2, divide by 2. 6 is equal to x. So that tells me my x-intercept is to the right 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There it is, right there. Okay, for the y-intercept, we're going to put 0 in for x and solve for y. So there's a y, there's an equals, there's a 2 over 3. There's an x, put 0. There's a minus, there's a 4. Now, even though 2/3 is a fraction, when you multiply 2/3 times 0, you get 0 minus 4. Remember, clean up each side. 0 minus 4 is negative 4. Oh, look, I found y. So this says don't go left or right, go down 4. There's my y-intercept, and I can graph my line. Just amazing. I just think that I just think it's amazing. It's wonderful, isn't it? A straight line from 2 dots. Oh! Okay, so checkpoint 2, you're going to graph using the x and y-intercepts. I don't know why I put that dot there. I don't know why it's all weird. Sometimes I'm not very good at this, guys. So you're going to find the x-intercept. Remember, you're looking for x. Put 0 in for y. You're going to find the y-intercept. Remember, Put 0 in for x and solve for y. It's going to make a nice straight line. I need to see all your work. You're going to have a beautiful line. And the secret word is ear. Because what's the end of linear? Ear. Do you hear what I'm saying? See you next time.